Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome in to your reading for the month of December or whenever this reading might find you. Let's just start off with a little bit of Palo Santo. Thank you, Sacred Palo Santo, for raising our energy, raising the energy of our environment as you settle in for the messages that are meant for you in the month ahead. Happy birthday for those of you who have a birthday in December. Sagittarius, I've got a lot of Sagittarius in my personal life, so I'll be celebrating you for sure this month. Let's see what is the primary energy for the collective in the month ahead, please. Okay, I'm getting for you generosity, card number 77. And what's coming up with this is actually an energy of lack, scarcity. And it can be really challenging for us to consider how can we be generous when it feels like there's not enough. And I want to remind you, Sagittarius, that we can be generous with our gifts. We can be generous with our time. We can be generous by going through all of our things and seeing what we might be able to purge. And I feel like that was a message for you previously as well, to purge. So if this is coming up again, I always say that when Spirit gives you the same message more than once, it's like a great big exclamation mark. Spirit is saying, pay attention to this message. And before we jump really deep into this reading, I just want to remind you that you could be reading for anywhere in your chart, your sun, your moon, your rising, your Venus, or anywhere else. So if this message does not resonate with you, please feel free to leave it for someone else, but also check out those other placements in your chart, because there's definitely going to be a message here for you somewhere. And again, I'm getting generosity. And I mean, it is the season to give, whether you celebrate or not, coming into this time of year. The weather is changing. I know this time of year, personally, I like to really work with the homeless and see if there's anywhere that I can give, whether it's giving items or even just going and bringing some warm coffee on a cold day, things like that. Is there somewhere that you can give in this month? And giving from the heart, not necessarily large value, but really giving from your heart, like being thoughtful. Maybe there's even someone in your life that you've been thinking about. What could I give them this holiday, or how could I show them my appreciation, my love? And again, this is really about being thoughtful and giving from your heart and giving with no strings attached. Nobody gives with the intention of receiving back, but that is what happens. You know, we put it out there, and sacred reciprocity suggests that, you know, we will receive back as well. And further to that, I'm also getting the boundaries card for you for this month. So this is really about saying yes when you really want to say yes, and saying no when you really want to say no. And it could be challenging. I feel like for some of you, these boundaries are with people who maybe you've never had boundaries with before. Your partner, your parents, your siblings, coworkers, I'm getting for some of you. Maybe there's people that you hire and you have to set up boundaries with them, and it might be uncomfortable. The thing with boundaries is that, you know, when we begin to set boundaries, yeah, some people in our life are really going to be uncomfortable with that. Maybe you were a doormat. Maybe you were a people pleaser. Maybe you were a yes man or a yes woman. And people knew that they could come to you and you would always do for them. You would always go out of your way to do for them, even if it meant that you were depleting yourself in the process. And what this boundaries card is telling me is that, you know, your soul is yearning for you to have those healthy boundaries. And yeah, when you set boundaries, sometimes people will be like, wait a second, I thought you would always do anything for me whenever I asked you to, or I thought you were always going to be okay with the way that I showed up for you or didn't show up for you. And now all of a sudden you're changing the tune and you want me to show up different for you. Some people may leave your life when you begin to set boundaries. And I'm here to tell you that that's okay. That's the universe saying, hey, this person wasn't for you anyways. Those who are meant to stay with you on your path, those are going to rise up to meet those boundaries. Those people, they love you, they respect you, and it might be uncomfortable at first, but they will rise up to meet those boundaries. So I feel like that's really important for you this month. I didn't even ask a question. I didn't even ask a clarification. I just felt the need to pull the card that was on the top of the deck here. By the way, I am using the Intuitive Life Coaching Oracle. This is by Kelly Smith. This is my OG deck. It's my favorite deck. I've used it the longest, and I use it in all my one-on-one sessions, and I use it in my group coaching programs and in my membership community and things like that, because it really does hit close to home. And it's a very large oracle deck. There's 72 cards in here, and sometimes we get some repeating messages, and it's like, whoa, okay, if we're getting so many repeating messages in such a big deck, that is a huge confirmation that these messages are for you. So let's see what is going to help the Sagittarius collective with these boundaries, please. Is there any more information that we can get about this boundaries card? I've got a couple messages here for you. So you're getting mentor. Yeah, these are all perfectly aligned. So we've got boundaries, we've got mentor, and we've got core values. So your core values, I mean, this is where you can see what is important to you and where these boundaries need to come into play. Following your heart and making your values a priority is going to help you with setting those boundaries, right? Because you're going to know what's important to you, and you're going to know what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not willing to tolerate. Like, sovereignty, what's important to you. Let's say, for example, what's important to you is that in order to have a connection with someone, that, you need to actually connect with them, not just be like the low effort family members where you only hear from them on your birthday and Christmas, but like actually have real genuine connection. And then setting up that boundary, like, hey, if you're not going to have real genuine connection with me the other 365 days a year, then what's the point of calling me on my birthday and calling on Christmas? This is something that, I can resonate with as well. I've got some family members that, call me on my birthday and call me on Christmas, and then I don't hear from them from the rest of the year. And it's like, no, if you are not willing to check in and see how things are going, and yes, it does go both ways. Absolutely. Again, sacred reciprocity, give for you today to give for me tomorrow. If you've been the one who is always connecting, always reaching out, and you've got someone in your life that never does the same for you, well, is that going against your core values? Like, what is important for a relationship for you? Making your core values a priority is going to help you get crystal clear about what these boundaries are and who these boundaries are meant to be made with. You're also getting mentors. So perhaps there's someone who's going to come into your life, or maybe they're already in your life, who are going to help you identify where these boundaries may be lacking in the moment, and really help you identify what those core values really are for you. It can be hard sometimes if we've never thought about this, like, what is important to me? Like, for me, it's really important that I show up as a mother who really values my children's health and happiness. And I really want to make sure that my children feel seen and heard and loved and understood. And it's very similar with those that I serve, the people that I work with, the people who come to my retreats, the people who come to my circles and ceremonies. I want to make sure that I create a safe space for them. And I also want to make sure that I'm standing in my power, and that I'm not sacrificing myself, that I'm able to be authentic. And anyone who makes me feel like I have to dim to fit in, well, that's someone I need to create a boundary with, because I should be able to be authentically myself. And if I feel like I'm not able to be myself in the presence of a certain person, then perhaps I need to make a boundary with those people. Let's see what is going to be the biggest challenge for the Sagittarius collective in the month ahead, please. What will be the biggest challenge? And then we can overcome that challenge. Perception. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like, you've got to see this from a different perspective, right? And for those of you who work with spirit, for those of you who work with animal allies in particular, any of the big birds of prey can really help us to see a shift in perspective. So maybe you've even seen like an eagle or a hawk, one of those big birds of prey. Maybe ravens and crows are showing up for you left, right, and center. These big birds of prey can allow us to rise above, to see the bigger picture in all of our life circumstances, right? They also lend us the bird's eye view, that hyper focus. So this is saying that you're about to have a shift in perception. And that's so important, because our circumstances, like what's going on in our life, our reality, it's never based on the circumstances themselves. We always give the power away to the circumstances. Oh, well, things are the way they are because this is happening. Things are the way they are because that's happening. Things are the way they are because of this past experience. But that's actually not the case at all. Our reality is truly based on how we're showing up in the day to day. So the circumstances, what they do is, we have thoughts around those circumstances. And if you've ever been in counseling or therapy or gone to see a psychiatrist or psychologist, you've probably heard this before, because this is where I learned it. I learned it in therapy 14 years ago. It's been reinforced multiple times through all the different coaches and mentors that I've worked with throughout the years. But it's never the circumstances. It's always our thoughts around the circumstances, our perception of the circumstances. Are we giving our circumstances all the power, or are we allowing ourselves to have the power? And what happens is our thoughts about our circumstances, they're going to affect how we feel, right? They're going to affect our emotions. They're going to affect the energy that we show up in. And at the end of the day, how we feel is how we act. So when we're not feeling that great, we're not likely to take a lot of action. When we feel like, poor me, the sky is falling, I'm in my victim story, and we're all in our victim stories. It's an archetype that we all have within us. And then we're not very likely to take any action. But when we feel empowered, when we feel like, okay, well, yeah, this is the hand that I was played. This is the hand that I was dealt, rather. But how I'm going to play it is up to me. Then that's an empowering energy. And we're way more likely to take action that's going to lead us to the results that we're looking for. So yeah, we're here getting messages from spirit, but we've got to really be logical about this as well. Balance that masculine and that feminine energy and see that, okay, yeah, we're getting these messages, but what are we going to do with them? And this is what I say about readings. People book one-on-one readings all the time. And I'm like, okay, this is all just information, right? But what you do with that information, how it affects your day to day, is what's actually going to affect your overall life. The information doesn't change anything. Your perception of the information absolutely can. And then what you then do with that information is what's going to create the action that changes the trajectory of your life. So it's up to you what you want to do with this. But I would say that there's definitely something that you've been looking at a certain way, and it's going to change. It's going to change in this month of December. And so it should. We are at the end of a number 9 year, you guys. So if there's stuff that hasn't been released yet, here we are at the very end of this number 9 year, it's got to go. The universe is going to force you to release what's ready to go, because we're at the end of a number 9 year. We've got to shed. It's the year of the snake. We've got to release, let go of whatever is ready to be let go of. And we all have a personal numerology as well. So who knows, maybe your personal numerology is in alignment. Mine is. My personal numerology is in alignment with the collective. So we're all having a number 9 year, and I'm personally having a number 9 year, hence why I'm shedding. My skin's breaking out. I'm literally shedding. I'm releasing, right? And whatever hasn't been released yet that needs to be left behind in 2025 is going to be brought to the surface, okay? It's going to be brought to the surface. And we've got a couple of really great astrological events that can help support us. We've got this full moon coming up on the 4th of December. So that could be a beautiful opportunity for you to do some sort of ritual or ceremony to help you release what's ready to go, to help you release those karmic ties, those energetic cords, those limiting beliefs, the habits and behaviors that you've been tolerating from yourself that you no longer want to tolerate from yourself. If you're local to me here in the Okanagan, British Columbia, I'm actually having a full moon ceremony on my property. We've got an acreage and a retreat space. So we'll be having a full moon ceremony here on the 4th from 6 till 8. I'll drop the link to join that down below in the comments. And then if you're not local to me, I actually have a virtual event the very next day on the 5th, on Friday, December the 5th, where we're going to be releasing what's ready to be left behind in 2025, because we've got to prepare ourselves for 2026. 2026 is the number 1 year. So new beginnings. It's all about planting those seeds for the long term, for our legacy, right? And we're being super supportive because it's also the year of the horse. And what does the horse represent? Freedom and moving forward and full steam ahead and quick progression of things. So this is coming up for a reason for you, Sagittarius. And I want you to remember that, because it can feel when we're in the midst of it, when all this stuff is coming to the surface, it can be really easy to feel like, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? But remember, it's not happening to you. It's happening for you so that you can prepare yourself to make space for what's coming in next year. And I just feel really called to pull this next card. It was in the middle of the deck, but it just screamed my name. And it's the journey. And this is really validating for everything that we've been talking about so far. The journey says that you're learning that all of these challenges have a gift inside of them. Like it's coming up for a reason. And I want to sneeze right now. It really feels like there's something that's at the surface that's ready to be released. And oh, I got truth bumps all over my body. Like, this is for you. This is for you. You got to let me know in the comments if you're resonating with this, because I feel like this could be relevant for all of us right now, because the collective is all going through a number 9 year and we're at the very end of a number 9 year. But like, this is for you. I feel like the Sagittarius collective, you guys are really, really feeling the ending of this number 9 year. I just want to add some gifts in here for you. Okay. What does the Sagittarius collective have to look forward to in the month of December? Because it feels like there's a lot of shadow work, there's a lot of inner work, and perfect timing. I mean, we're going into the winter solstice that's going to happen later in the month, just before the holidays. I'm going to be doing a co-ed event here in the Okanagan as well. I don't have the details for it yet, but you guys can find that on my website if you're interested in that. That'll be the 18th of December. What are the gifts for the Sagittarius collective in the month ahead, please? I'm getting hidden treasure. Like, I asked for a gift and we got a gift. Look at that. I cannot make this up, you guys. So hidden treasure, you have untapped potential within you. It really feels like you're going to be connecting with your own intuitive gifts this month. And that's going to help guide you. That's going to help guide you through, hey, what do I need to do to release? Who are these people that I need to make boundaries with? And, you know, like, what do I need to do to show up as my best? And it's going to be different for all of us. You know, we all have different intuitive gifts. Maybe your intuition comes through channeling like it does for me. Maybe your intuition comes through an inner knowing. We all have an inner knowing. Okay. That is the one constant through everybody. Everybody has an inner knowing, but our intuition is just like any other muscle, right? We've got to practice it to strengthen it. It's like doing bicep curls, you know, in order to grow your biceps, you've got to exercise your biceps, right? And the flip side is true as well. If we ignore our muscles, then they're going to deteriorate. They're going to atrophy over time. And so many of us have been ignoring our intuition for so many years. And this whole awakening journey is about remembering our own intuitive gifts. And again, we all have that strong inner knowing, but you know, some of your secondary gifts might come through differently for you. Maybe you hear spirit. Maybe you get intuitive downloads, and to you they might seem like thoughts or words that you hear, but they're actually your spirit guides and allies, or your higher self, or God, or the universe speaking directly to you. Maybe you have a strong sense. Maybe you get a lot of, like I did earlier, truth bumps, or even sensations, tingles, twitches, things like that inside of your body. That's very common. Perhaps you see, you know, when you close your eyes, you see, or you're in the shower, all of a sudden you can see some images and you think you're just imagining something. You're not imagining something. You're not imagining something. You're connecting to another timeline, or you're connecting to the future timeline, or whatever it is. You're receiving messages. And I really feel like that's going to be key for you in the month ahead, because your intuition is going to guide you. And yeah, I really feel like this is the time. This is the time for you to connect with your intuition. If you're feeling called to my energy and you'd like some clarity, a lot of the one-on-one sessions that I do are around, you know, what are your hidden gifts and how is your intuition speaking to you? We all have intuitive gifts, okay? Every single one of us. A lot of confusion lies in, you know, the psychic versus medium conversation. It's like, we're all psychic. Okay. We all have intuition. We were born with it. We all have a third eye. We all have a pineal gland. We all have intuitive gifts. Whereas mediumship is communicating with those who have passed on to the other side. Not all spirit is the same, right? We've got all sorts of different spirits, and you probably already know this if you're here watching this video, but for those of you who don't, you know, we've got like the angels and the archetypes and the gods, the goddesses, the deities, the nature spirits, the animal spirits, the plant spirits, our ancestors, you know, the cosmic beings. There's so many different spirit beings, but then there's spirit on the other side, you know, humans who have passed on into the other side. And that is mediumship. And that's a skill to be developed. Some people have it naturally and some people develop it over time. But, you know, we all have a psychic intuition, every single one of us. Let's get a little bit more on this hidden treasure before we wrap this up and go into the extended reading. If you are new here and you're enjoying my energy, I would so appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. If this message is speaking to you, please do like it. You guys know how the algorithm works. The more people who like it, the more people who will see it. The more people who see it, the more likely I am to show up for these videos. Because let me tell you, sometimes it's like, oh my God, I have to film. We're getting towards the end of the month and I'm running out of time. And so when I see that there's lots of feedback and lots of people watching, I'm like, oh, okay, I have to do those videos because people want to see it. And then, if you are feeling called to my energy and you'd like to book a one-on-one, there's only 5 sessions available left in the end of 2025. And some of the one-on-ones I'm doing in 2025, they're really incredible. We're doing a 12-month overview. So we're looking at your whole year ahead. But those one-on-one sessions can be whatever you'd like them to be. I'm a shamanic healer and a retreat host. So sometimes the one-on-one sessions are healing. And that's a beautiful experience. I really love to do those. Let's get some more clarity on this hidden treasure. What else does the Sagittarius collective need to know for the month ahead, please? Okay, karma. So you might be involved in a karmic relationship. The fact that you got boundaries earlier does tell me that there is some karma here. And, for some of these boundaries, perhaps somebody has hurt you, and you creating this boundary is going to create a little bit of hurt in that person. And it's not that your intention is to hurt someone else, but it's to understand that this is a karmic relationship. Some of these relationships could even be some past life karma. And this happens often. Often the people that are closest to us are people that we have shared lifetimes with before. And, maybe in a past life, you were my mother. And in this lifetime, I am a spiritual mentor. And, maybe in the past life, you were able to guide me and help me to become who I'm meant to be. And maybe in this lifetime, I'm here to guide you and help you become who you're meant to be just by watching this video. Not even necessarily working one-to-one, but like these videos do make a difference in people's lives. And I know I watch a lot of videos as well. So just remember that karma will take care of itself. It's not up to you to balance karma. The universe will take care of that for you. But there are definitely some karmic relationships that are coming up here for you. And I feel like it's tying into that boundaries card. So remember to stay true to your core values, really follow your heart. And that's going to help you align with your core values. Get out of your head, Sagittarius, and into your heart. And what can really help with that is to connect with your body. Like, how are things feeling in your body? If you know anything about somatic practices, it can be really, really helpful. If you don't know anything about somatic practices, just as soon as you're done this video, go to your search bar and type in somatic release, and there will be lots of videos that can help you along with that. I will dive deeper into this in the extended reading. You can find the link to join me down below. By the way, if you join me for the extended reading, you get free access to the event that we're having on Zoom on December the 5th for the full moon. So I do hope that you will join me there. You can find the link to join that down below in the description box. Have a beautiful month ahead, Sagittarius.